Hi ladies, welcome to today's webinar. I am going to be showing you how you can balance your hormones so that your body can burn fat. And I'm going to do it in 6 easy steps. So you can burn fat not only for weight loss, but for unlimited health. So here is my promises to you today. Okay, you are going to have clarity on exactly how to switch your body over to burning fat. You will lose weight effortlessly, naturally, and sustainably, and you're going to do it by working smarter, not harder. We're going to speed up your metabolism, at least double your energy, and you are going to look in the mirror at yourself in the clothes that you love and just smile. So my name's Natalie. I'm founder of Fat Burning Woman. My background's nutritional therapy, personal training, and life coaching. Now, I do love science and how things work, so sometimes I get a wee bit excited. I talk quite fast and technical. I've got a little bit of a Kiwi twang as well, so if I talk a bit fast, then just you have my permission to ask me to slow down, okay? So, or if you're watching the replay, then you can press pause. I encourage you to make sure you have a pen and paper, because I'm going to cover a lot of information and I'm going to do it in a very short period of time. And at the end, I'm going to show you how you can find out more and install this into your life. Okay, so let me start at the beginning. When I was 25, my body literally gave up on me. So I had struggled with anxiety and depression. I was diagnosed bipolar. I got burnt out in the corporate world. I had fluctuating weight. I had a lot of skin issues, so really bad acne. I was so self-conscious about my face. I had a miscarriage. I was sleeping like 15 hours a night because I was so tired, and I had this brain fog all the time, just kind of like this cloudiness over my eyes and my brain. I couldn't think straight. And guess what? I was eating healthy. I was living what I thought was a healthy life. I was actually a personal trainer, so I really thought I knew a thing or two. So you can see me in this picture. This is me having a personal trainer, having green smoothies every day, but clearly it wasn't working. At this stage, I actually thought I was pregnant. And you can see kind of that around the tummy, around the thighs. I thought I was pregnant. I took a pregnancy test and I wasn't. Something just really wasn't life. So I actually just accepted that my life would just be chronic exhaustion, poor cognitive functioning. I'd have that tricep, butt and thigh fat, and around the tummy I'd be anxious because I had really bad anxiety. I'd be self-conscious, and that I'd just have to accept that I was getting older and getting fatter. And I really was just surviving. And it was just so frustrating because I was living what I thought was healthy, and I still felt like crap. And I started to, I guess, get really just overwhelmed and just feel hopeless. And I'm sure you guys have experienced the same thing. Have you just got to the stage where you thought you were doing everything right? You still felt hopeless? Yeah? So, well, my body got really sick, okay? So when I say my body gave up on me, I actually hit a real crisis point. My body couldn't move. My body actually seized up, and I got a diagnosis of a degenerative and incurable autoimmune arthritis that I'd possibly end up in a wheelchair, so I couldn't straighten my legs or my back, would basically walk with a limp. Now, this is a healthy personal trainer. So naturally, I researched every healing diet out there. I was vegan, I was paleo, I did GAPS healing protocol, I started Gerson, I went on to study nutritional therapy and life coaching. I got a coach for myself, and I just actually overhauled my nutrition. I actually changed a lot of mindset, and I changed the type of exercise that I was doing as well. So basically I just changed my life. And here's what I learned. There are other ways for you to get unlimited energy. So what I thought was right wasn't. So So there are actually other ways you can do it. There's even ways for you to lose weight without dieting or counting calories. There's strategic ways you can make your new habits stick. There are ways for weight loss and health to just be effortless, natural, sustainable. You don't have to try so hard. And there are ways that you can love your imperfect self, love you just the way you are. When I realised this, I just unlocked like a whole new level of energy. It was consistent energy that lasts all day. It was next level. I just had no idea I'd never experienced that kind of energy before. I tapped into a brain function that was a higher level, so I had no idea how foggy my brain had actually been. So that baby brain just went, bye-bye baby brain. I had razor sharp, laser focus. I'd look in the mirror and I'd just love what I see. I'd smile all the time, and I still do. I enjoy my time in the present moment with my family. I don't worry about how I'm holding my arms and my legs positioned in photos. I had to get so strategic to kind of hide the hip fat or the fat arms in the photos. I don't have to do that. Like, I actually just love myself, my imperfect self, because I'm far from perfect, but I still have learnt to love myself. I eat when I'm hungry and I stop when I'm full, and I don't feel guilty. My exercise is, playing with my family or walking to school, so I don't have to do hardcore exercise to lose weight like I used to do when I was training. And things like going to the park. So exercise isn't necessary for this weight loss. So why is it important for you to love that woman in the mirror? To have energy all day long? And to have mental clarity? Just want you to have a think about why this is important for you. Okay. Now I do want to check whether you're here, whether you're in the right place. So, do you lose motivation? Does this sound like you? Because if it does, then you're in the right place. Do you lose motivation? You start this clean, healthy diet, and then it's just, something pops up, life gets in the way, you get stressed, you get busy, you get emotional, and then it just becomes easier to eat the cookie. You just lose that motivation. Does that sound like you? Or maybe your emotions rule you. You eat emotionally, or you look at that woman in the mirror and you just hate her, you despise her, you're embarrassed of her. You're ashamed to be at the beach or the pool with your family and your friends, the people that love you, but you are just embarrassed. You're covering yourself up, or you just don't go. You don't want to be in these photos. You're disappointed in yourself. You're sad, you're worried, you're scared. Is this you? Or maybe you feel like a failure. You can't stick to anything, so then you just self-sabotage. Or maybe you're exhausted, you wake up tired. Or maybe you crash throughout the day, or you can't sleep at night. It's hard to fall asleep at night. You end up waking up sort of 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you're just exhausted. Is this you? Are you here because nothing works anymore? You've tried the diet, you've tried the exercise, you've tried the pills, the shakes, the vitamins, the doctors, the nutritionists, the naturopath, the Weight Watchers, and so many other diet plans, but nothing works for you anymore. Does that sound like you? Because you're in the right place. Are you overwhelmed? There is so much conflicting information out there. If the experts can't agree on something, how are you supposed to know what to do? And you feel overwhelmed, so you have no idea where to start. Does this resonate with you? Because the real fear here is that you have to give up. And if you feel like giving up, then you're in the right place. If you feel like you're just going to have to settle for being fat and unhappy forever, you are in the right place. So let me ask what it is that you want. Do you want a diet that works? Where you lose weight, but that you don't compromise energy for weight loss, so that you can lose weight, but you also have unlimited energy. But a diet that actually is balanced and flexible, So you can go out and to a friend's place for dinner and eat the meal that they prepare for you without saying, sorry, I'm on a diet. Does that sound like you? You know, do you want a diet that allows you to feel indulged and that can be satisfying and sustainable? Do you want a diet that works in with your family? Because if that's what you want, then you're in the right place. Do you want to be in control, no longer obsessed with your food? To be able to stick to these new habits that you're wanting to instill, to have an internal motivation. So you're not relying on the external, that you can have an internal motivation and drive so you are always in control of your life, your health, your weight. Is that what you want? Do you want confidence to wear whatever you want, to go to the beach or the pool, to walk into a room and just shine? Because if you do, you're in the right place. Do you want clarity? Do you want to finally know the answer of how to get results, to how to get them quickly and easily, but also sustainably? Because I'm going to show you how. I'm just going to simplify it. So many women will say to me, finally, everything makes sense. So if this sounds like you, you're in the right place. At the end of the day, I know what you really want is you just want results. So if you want results, you are in the right place. If you want to love your body, to love your health, to love your life, this is exactly what I'm going to show you in this webinar. So you have come to the right place. Okay. So which part do you need most right now? There's some exciting stuff we're going to go through. Do you need to be in control? Do you want to be more confident? Do you need energy? Just need some guidance on your diet? Or do you just want the clarity on this weight loss puzzle that just has you so overwhelmed and so confused? Just pause for a moment and have a think about which part do you need most right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to explain to you what happens when you don't apply what we're going to go through today. And I have the best example because last year there was a study released on the Biggest Loser contestants. So this is when you exercise lots. These guys actually, they exercise at least 90 minutes a day, 6 days a week. They do a calorie restricted diet. So they do this diet of about 1,200 calories. So it is restrictive. But this is the model that we all use to lose weight. And in fact, if you looked up weight loss or if you looked up obesity, the answer is purely due to these calories. So this is where we're going wrong. And guess what happened when we looked at the study? So when the study was released, they did metabolic testing of these Biggest Loser contestants. They did it before they started the competition, they did it at the end of the competition, and then they did it 6 years later. So here's some of the patterns. First of all, weight loss. Naturally, they lost a lot of weight while they're on the show. And they lost it very quickly. Okay? They lost a bit of muscle as well. Their metabolism slowed right down. And one of the scary parts was their hormone leptin was basically non-existent at all. It dropped almost to zero by the end of the competition. Now this hormone is your satiety hormone. So they were missing their satiety hormone at the end of the competition. So basically they felt unsatisfied, hungry, in fact starving when they left the competition. So they went home at the start of the competition, so they lost a lot of weight, but their metabolism's now slowed down, which is reasonably normal because they've got a smaller house to run now, so they don't need as high a metabolism because they've lost weight, they've got a smaller body. So they lost, the metabolism slowed down. They no longer have leptin, which is their hormone that keeps them satisfied. So they go home, they're hungry, the metabolism has slowed down. And naturally, they put the weight back on over that 6 years. But they put fat on. The majority is fat. So they put a little bit of lean muscle on, but more so fat over that 6 years. Okay, so something's changed. But also, as they put the weight back on, their metabolism should go up again because they've got a bigger house to run. But it doesn't. Their metabolism is permanently damaged. It stays there. Their leptin goes up somewhat, but not as much as it should. So basically, these two, the leptin and the metabolism, should be in sync, but now they're not. So this exercising, a ridiculous amount, working so hard with your exercise and restricting your calories, what has it done? It has damaged the metabolism. The body, the glucose metabolism and what they're burning, the body is not designed for weight loss. The body is designed for survival. If you try and mess with that, the body adapts to survive, and it does that by slowing down the metabolism. So that is why in your 20s and 30s you can do these sort of diets and they may or may not work, but then in your 40s and 50s your metabolism is slowed down. So when you try things that worked before, nothing works anymore. So let me go through some of the steps of how you can burn fat, metabolize fat, because we now know that exercising lots and eating less does not work in the long term. And if anything, it makes the situation worse. It throws your hormones out of balance and it also slows down your metabolism. Okay, so first of all, the first step, I think, is to really understand why you're here, why you're starting. Okay, because if you don't know why you're starting, if you don't know why you want to balance your hormones so that you can burn fat, so that you can lose weight, so you can have less pain, so you can have more energy, so you can have better sleep, if you don't know why, then it doesn't matter what strategies I give you, they're not going to stick. So please get super clear on why you are starting. Paint a picture, engage all your senses, make it visual, hear the sounds, feel the feelings of achieving your goal. What are the smells associated with it? I'm going to give you an exercise actually, because what you can see here is the brain actually doesn't know the difference between your reality and your imagination. So we can actually use that to our advantage to influence your perception. Okay? So you can put an image in front of your brain and it thinks it is real. So how good is that for creating the life that you want? Because you can create that life in your brain. We can reprogram your neurological pathways. So what I want you to do is I want to do a quick exercise with you. I want you to close your eyes and we're going to have a think about your why. Why are you starting? Okay? So I want you to close your eyes and imagine that you have woken up in the morning and a miracle has happened. This miracle that has happened is because you have the health, the weight, the life that you have always dreamed of, and it's a miracle. So first of all, how do you know that it's happened? What's the first thing you notice when you wake up? Maybe it's that the body isn't in pain, that you can bounce out of bed, energetic. Maybe the kids run into the room. Or maybe you get out of bed and look in the mirror and you just smile because you love what you see. So remember, your brain doesn't know the difference between this image that you're creating in your mind right now and reality. So let's create your reality. So I want you to engage all your senses because this makes it even more powerful for your brain. So what do you hear? Do you hear laughter? Do you hear music? Do you hear silence, which just makes you feel peaceful? What do you smell? Maybe you smell fresh coffee. Maybe you smell bacon and eggs. When you're your perfect weight, when your health is great, what are the senses that you are going to notice? And I want you to feel them right now. Maybe you hear the birds in the yard. What are the senses? Maybe you put on your clothes and they fit. They're not tight. And they look good. They're the clothes that you want to wear. They're no longer those clothes that you use to hide everything or just so you can be comfortable so that it doesn't stretch and hurt your tummy. So what is this end goal? Why are you starting? What is it that you really want? because we must understand why, we must feel it. And you can do this daily, to be engaged, to have this in your mind every single day. And then we can start to get traction with the next strategies. Because if you don't have a why, if you don't understand, then you may as well stop here. Because these strategies won't work, because you won't be able to stick. Okay, let's get into the biochemistry. So let me tell you about fat metabolism and glucose metabolism. So you're here because you want to burn more fat. And we have oversimplified things a bit too much with our advice. And I know I say our because I am, personal training. This is exactly the advice I used to give, despite it being incorrect. So we talked about this biggest loser, these biggest losers. So see that paper on the fire? That is like glucose within the body. So that's your body's fuel at the moment. So when you put paper on the fire, it burns very quickly. You need to top it up again. So you keep putting paper on the fire, it burns very quickly until you top it up again. So think of these biggest loser contestants. They've got some stores of glucose. You can only the body doesn't actually like glucose in the blood. It likes less than a teaspoon. Okay, but it will store about 2,000 calories, which isn't much. It's only a few hours worth. So when you eat, your body will have that glucose. It will store it in the body. Well, as much as it can. The rest will get stored as fat. But it's a limited capacity. And your body will use that fuel either from the glucose that is in the blood or from the stored glucose, which is glycogen stored in your muscles and liver. Okay, now look at this fuel. This paper burns very quickly. Okay, so you have to keep topping it up. So with this exercising and restricting calories, you exercise more, so you deplete your glucose stores. You diet, so you restrict your calories, and you restrict your glucose stores, so your stores get low, but your body's still burning glucose. You're a glucose burner. That is the fuel your body's using. And like I said before, your body's not designed for weight loss, it's designed for survival. So those stores get low, and your body knows that, and it's designed to keep you alive. So it gets more efficient. Okay, it wants to preserve that fuel source. So it adapts, and it adapts by slowing down your metabolism so that it can save that fuel to keep your body alive. And here's the bit that is overly simple, but it is the missing piece of the puzzle. That log underneath the paper is your fat stores. So that's a different type of metabolism, and it doesn't work by calories in and calories out. And we've known this since 1965. One of the scientists that discovered it won a Nobel Peace Prize. That fat metabolism comes from a hormone. So it's actually hormone driven. And when this hormone is present, you cannot access this fat for fuel. So the hormone is insulin. Okay, so we've known this since 1965, yet we still put this glucose model on a fat metabolism model. It just doesn't make any sense, and that is why you're confused. So when insulin is present, the fat gets locked in the fat cells, so you can't access it. So it doesn't matter how much exercise you do, how little you eat, if insulin is present, you won't access the fat stores because it gets locked in. But not only that, insulin is a primary fat storing hormone. So its job is to store fat. So that glucose, because you can't store much in your body, that leftover glucose gets stored as fat. So this is the problem with this model. We've got two different types of metabolisms here as well. You've got one that burns really quickly that you have to keep topping up. It's very inefficient, but it's also very inflammatory. The log, however, is a slow-burning fuel that can go for a very long time. When you tap into your fat stores as a fuel, it can go and go and go and go. It can keep burning. So if you're a glucose burner, you will notice that you'll eat food, have a high, then you'll have a sugar crash. So if you're having crashes throughout the day, you're a glucose burner. And when you crash, the body gets hungry, it gets tired, you also get the brain fog. So if that's part of your life, you're burning glucose, not fat. If you're burning fat, you can have a constant fuel that lasts for days. To give you an example of the capacity, no, not on that slide. To give you an example of the capacity, with your log or your fat stores, if you think of the skinniest person that you know, they have 40,000 calories of fat. but they only have 2,000 of glucose. So they've got 20 times the capacity of fat to glucose. So they've got 20 times the energy that they can use to fuel their body. And that's a skinny person. So how much more fat do you have than that skinny person? It's unlimited. Your body can go for days, for weeks, burning fat as its fuel to survive. But why doesn't it? Because it's not about calories, it's about hormones, it's about insulin. While insulin is present, you will not access that. So the goal is to reduce your insulin so that fat gets released from the fat cells and you can use it as a fuel. It's as simple as that. And I want to talk to you in the next strategies about how we can encourage the body to use that fuel once you make it available. But you must make it available by reducing insulin. And each time you eat, insulin spikes. And if you eat 6 meals a day, like I used to tell people when I was training them, eat 6 meals a day to speed up your metabolism. It's wrong. If you're eating 6 meals a day, your insulin is chronically elevated all day long, so you never access your fat stores. So, first of all, again, we must understand our behaviour that we're looking to change. So if you're going to burn fat by balancing your hormones, we need to understand these steps that we're going through that lead us to these habits that are causing us to have an imbalance in hormones. Okay, so this is a cascade of events that happens. So as an example, there's an activating event. Well, there's events all the time in your life, big or small. But what happens is you apply this filter called beliefs or values. It's like wearing some glasses that are foggy. So you will see through that filter and apply that to the event. So you will see the event in a certain way where someone else will see it differently, and that'll be based on your beliefs. And guess what? Those beliefs and values are established when you're less than 3 years old, in the first couple of years of life. So the 3-year-old version of you is still inside of you, applying a filter to your life. So naturally, when this activating event happens and you're filtering it through the eyes of a child, you have these thoughts that pop into your head. You may or may not notice them, but these thoughts will then drive a feeling, and you probably notice those, that then drive a behaviour. So maybe the activating event is someone yelling at you at work. Or, no, let's say use an example on the road. You are driving and someone cuts you off to exit the motorway. Now, if your belief is, or one of your core values is consideration or kindness, then the automatic thought would be that that person's rude. They shouldn't have done that. So then the feeling might be anger, and then the action might be tooting the horn or pulling the finger, whatever it is that you do. But hey, let's use that same activating event. Someone cuts you off on the motorway, but your belief or value is in efficiency and time. There's a limited amount of time in the world, so you need to do things quickly. Then your automatic thought would be, that person was in a hurry. So then your feeling might be neutral, and then the action behaviour is just keep on driving. So the same activating event, the action and behaviour is different. The feeling is different, and the automatic thought is different because of these beliefs that we've established as a child. Now I want to do an exercise with you to really tap into this inner child, because this inner child is critical in you, one, reprogramming your thoughts, but also tapping into these feelings and actually connecting with yourself, your inner child, and your feelings, and embracing them so that we can influence your behaviour, so that you can change these habits so that you can burn more fat. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to just rattle off all the criticism for yourself that you would say to yourself. I'm fat, Look at your fat thighs. Look at all those. That cellulite, those varicose veins. Oh my goodness, you're late for everything. You fail at everything. What sort of pops into your head? Rattle off those criticisms. What comes into you? Just let them flow. All those thoughts that you sort of say to yourself. You're useless. You have no self-control. Don't wear that. You look awful, disgusting. These are some of the words that my clients say when they start. Okay. Now, I want you to imagine a 3-year-old child in front of you. This 3-year-old is the 3-year-old version of you, okay? So if you can imagine yourself as a 3-year-old child in front of you. Now I want you to rattle off this criticism to this child, to you as a 3-year-old. You're fat, you're ugly, you're disgusting. Look at your fat thighs. You're useless, you're always late. You're such a failure, you don't have any self-control, you're lazy. Just rattle off all these criticisms that you say to yourself. I want you to tell this 3-year-old child. Now tell me, how does that make you feel? I've done this exercise with some clients who are working in childcare, and naturally they're crushed. And I think, for any mum, that's quite crushing, isn't it? What does the face of that child look like? Have you motivated them? Are they now excited? They're now excited to start their health journey, to be a better person, to love who they are? Of course not. You just watch that 3-year-old child cower in front of you, cry, feel ashamed, curl up, or maybe put up a wall, a barrier around so no one can get in. That is what you've created with all this criticism of yourself, so it stops now. No more self-criticism. I want you to instead talk to this 3-year-old child, the 3-year-old version of you. You can give them feedback, but I want you to communicate in a way that you would to a 3-year-old child. You're perfect just the way you are. I like how you keep trying. Your persistence is admirable. So how would you feedback to this 3-year-old child? Now I want you to reduce this child into a small pocket-sized version, like a little troll. And then I want you to pop them into your breast pocket. And any time that these negative thoughts, that these criticisms come into your head, I want you to get this 3-year-old child out and change. Communicate to yourself in a way that you would communicate to a 3-year-old child, encouraging, loving thoughts, because there's no way your criticism is motivating you. Just like the 3-year-old child, because that 3-year-old child is still within you. There's lots of ways to interrupt this cascade of events. We're sort of looking at those beliefs and those values, but also those automatic thoughts. You can tap into the feelings and allow yourself to embrace those feelings. So there's different exercises you can do at different points. There's cognitive behavioural therapy you can do. There's neuro-linguistic programming you can do. There is an opportunity to stop this chain of events, and it is important as part of your journey. This is how you switch over to burning fat, by understanding these cascade of events and interrupting them and changing. Oh, that was the one that we just did. So you can see here that this explains that the 3-year-old version of you plus your life experiences equals your values and beliefs that you drive. That drive your thoughts, your feelings, and therefore your behaviour. And today, we've changed those. Okay, let's get into some hormones. Fat-burning hormones. So these are some of the critical hormones for you to burn fat. Okay, so we've talked about lowering your insulin lower life so the fat gets released from the fat cells so that you can use it as a fuel for your body. But here's the thing. Some of these hormones are going to determine whether you actually burn that fat or whether you burn the paper or the glucose. Because adrenaline and cortisol are your fight or flight hormones. Adrenaline more so. Cortisol is more a long-term chronic state within the body in terms of stress response. So what happens is, if you can imagine when you have an argument or you get overwhelmed at work, or maybe you get emotional with regards to something that makes you angry. Now your body is, again, designed for survival. So your biochemical response within your body is for survival. So when your heart races, whether that's due to a rush from a sugary drink, or whether that's due to someone raising their voice at you, or you looking at your emails and seeing that there's 101 emails in there and that you don't have the time to get through them, when your heart starts racing, your body sees there is a saber-toothed tiger chasing you. Someone is coming up with you with a spear. It is preparing you for fight or flight, despite this being emotional and mental stress. And these are glucose burning fuels. Your body needs quick energy, which is the paper on the fire, and that is glucose. So you are not going to burn fat if adrenaline and cortisol is a big part of your life. So if you can't sleep at night, then most likely that is part of the problem. You're in a heightened state. Your body's always prepared to fight or flight. And if it's doing that, it's constantly pumping out glucose. Even if you're not eating it, it'll make it so that you can be prepared. Fat is a calm, burning fuel that requires oxygen, and it requires time. It's the log on the fire. You're not allowing it the time because you need to rush, you need energy. So rushing around, this busyness, this chronic busyness state that you're in is preventing you from burning fat. Your sex hormones, progesterone and estrogen, they should be nicely flowing throughout the month. That's if you're menstruating. Progesterone is your fat-burning hormone, estrogen is your fat-storing hormone. Quite often these are out of balance. Usually you can tell this if you get PMS symptoms or if you've had menopause symptoms, then quite likely there's an imbalance there. More often than not, there's sort of a dominance in estrogen. This can happen because the liver is overburdened. The liver detoxes cholesterol and estrogen, but if it's burdened with things like sugars and refined carbohydrates, alcohol, smoking, chemicals, medications, anything sort of foreign to the body, the liver is just working so hard that it just goes estrogen and cholesterol just natural within the body. So I'll just recycle them and deal with them later. And this over-recycling of estrogen becomes dominant within the body. So that is one part that can contribute to this estrogen dominance, but so can these makeups and cosmetic products that have estrogen mimic chemicals within them. So there's a number of different things that can sort of contribute to estrogen dominance, but when you're estrogen dominant, you're in a fat storing state. We want to balance with progesterone. Quite often, if your adrenal glands are overworked, they'll downregulate progesterone, which means that estrogen becomes dominant in relation to progesterone. So you can see how these hormones are affecting your ability to burn fat. Your hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin. So you've got leptin, which is keeps you satisfied, okay, and ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone. So you can actually change how these hormones happen within the body. So when you're eating good quality fats, leptin increases within the body. Leptin is produced in relation to dietary fats, but also body fat. So you can actually increase the level of leptin by having good quality fats, which makes you feel satisfied, so you eat less, but you also have a diet that's satisfying. The other hormones that contribute to your ability to burn fat are serotonin and melatonin. Now, naturally, when cortisol rises in the morning and then tapers off as the day goes on and melatonin kicks in, overnight your body's in a resting and repair, a healing state. It's also can be in a fat-burning state, but if you're not able to sort of get into a quality sleep, your body is going to always pick the easy fuel. If you're tired, why would the body spend extra energy warming up your fat stores to use it as a fuel when it can have this readily available fuel in glucose? So your sleep contributes to whether you're able to burn fat or you're going to burn glucose. So these are the critical hormones and there's a couple of others that we haven't sort of gone into today, but these are critical hormones that allow you to burn fat, but they're imbalanced. I asked you the questions at the start of whether this is relevant for you, and you're here because they are. So this is where we need to start. So first of all, we need to lower the insulin low enough so that you can burn fat, that the fat's released from the cells, but we also need to balance these hormones so that your body chooses to burn fat instead of glucose. I think it's important for us to understand that our bodies were never designed to be eating 6 meals a day. Our digestive system has been overworked. We used to get up, go and fetch or chase our food or collect our food. We didn't eat first thing in the morning. We'd actually have to source our food and then we could eat. But yet, why would it be right for us to eat 6 meals a day now when we never had to before? Our bodies have always been in this feast and fast state, but what we're in now is we're dominant in this feasting state and we never fast. And here's what happens in a feasting state. Your glucose gets elevated each time you eat, and therefore your body doesn't like the glucose in the blood. Okay, less than a teaspoon we mentioned, so insulin's released, so insulin is elevated. Now we know that that's a fat storing hormone, so it signals storage. And the body's going to use the glucose from the last meal. Okay, so it's burning glucose, not fat. It's storing fat, burning glucose. So while you're eating, that is happening. And when you fast, like overnight, when you're not eating, your glucose drops, your insulin drops, fat gets released from the fat cells, and then you burn fat. But it takes about 12 hours to get rid of all that glucose, for the insulin to drop low enough for the fat to get released from the fat cells so you can burn the fat. And then you go and eat a big breakfast, usually high in carbohydrates with lots of oats or cereals, and then your glucose gets elevated, your insulin gets elevated, just signal storage, and you only burn glucose. So you never actually get to burn the fat. And then you eat 6 meals a day, so your insulin's chronically elevated all day. So it's important for us to understand that this is natural. It's been used for centuries with so many different leaders around the world. Fasting has been used spiritually as well as physically to heal the body. It takes you into another state. It actually switches on a body's protection system. You know, some of the cool things about this protection system is when your body gets into the state of fasting and burning fat, it releases these molecules called ketones. These ketones are your brain's super fuel. It's so good that they've been marketing as a medicine, as a medication. They're now selling it as supplements. These ketones are amazing for the body, but you can do it just through eating and strategy of eating and fasting. These ketones have so many health benefits. They are anti-inflammatory. They switch on your body's antioxidant protection system. So basically, you reduce oxidation, which in layman's terms is slowed aging. So you can slow down aging, but it also regenerates cells. So it repairs and rebuilds cells. In particular, your brain cells, because your brain loves them. So they're using it with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's patients at the moment to actually reverse disease. It's been used for diabetic patients to reverse disease. So this feasting and fasting model and burning fat as a fuel is not just about losing weight. Yes, you will lose weight, and it will be easy once you switch your body over to burning fat by balancing these hormones. But you actually unlock a whole new world of health. You get improved cognitive functioning, brain function, memory. You tap into this energy source that is amazing. So think of the log, that energy that just keeps going and going and going, no crashes. It's next level. The healing and repair within the body is just amazing. When I did when I switched over to burning fat, and I never thought I'd be able to run a marathon. You know, you mentioned, you heard me talk about my health, and I basically couldn't walk because of an arthritis, despite being a personal trainer and eating healthy. Once I healed my body and switched over to burning fat, I ran a marathon, which I never ever thought I could do. Every day after I'd ever done exercise, I would usually be sore the next day. After this marathon, the biggest event of my life, I wasn't sore, and there's studies to prove it. that it actually increases repair, because it's anti-inflammatory and healing times reduce. So your motivation could be just weight loss, but you actually access a whole new world of health, anti-inflammatory, healing the gut, increased hormone sensitivity. So you only need a small amount of hormones to do the same amount to do the same job, rather than at the moment you're having to have lots of hormones within your body because the body stopped listening and it's out of balance. So you absolutely have this opportunity to burn fat, lose weight easily, and just access unlimited health. You could not even comprehend how amazing it is until you switch over. I certainly didn't. I must touch on again exercise as another strategy for you to burn fat instead of glucose. As a personal trainer, and I know there's lots of weight exercise techniques out there. I just think it's important to understand that, when you're doing this boxing or you're doing boot camp or you're with your trainer and you're working so hard, and then you have this lactic acid build up in your muscles, which for you means like your legs are jelly or you feel a bit nauseous. That feeling is lactic acid, and that's a byproduct of burning glucose, not fat. So you've got these different energy systems. ATP, CP system is more like your weights, so less than sort of 10 seconds lifting weights, maybe 8 to 10 reps, and they're heavier rather than the longer sort of 10 to 20 reps. That there is going to build muscle, which increases your metabolism, so you burn fat. Aerobic exercise is when that log is on the fire. It needs time to get started, and it's a slow burning fuel. That is aerobic exercise. So low intensity aerobic exercise allows oxygen, because oxygen is required for fat burning. These other two states up here, ATP, CP, and anaerobic lactate, they're both anaerobic systems, so they're both without oxygen, where fat is an oxygen fuel. You need oxygen. So aerobic exercise is what burns fat. Okay. So there are some of your strategies. I want you to just have a think about when you apply this, what impact is it going to have to your life? When you balance these hormones, when you reduce your insulin enough so the fat gets released from the cells and you actually burn it instead of burning glucose, what changes is this going to have to your life? When you get these molecules, these byproducts of burning fat that suddenly unlock this memory, this concentration, this next level kind of razor sharp focus, when you heal your gut, when you reduce the inflammation in your body, what impact is this going to have on your life? Just have a think for a moment. Imagine it. Okay. So, to be honest, I'm not sure why you're here. Everyone sort of joins for a different reason. It could be because the exercise more and eat less model doesn't work for you anymore. It could be because you've tried so many ways to lose weight, the extra, especially those extra few kilos, and now you've had kids or you're getting older, nothing seems to work. It could be that you just already know, that you're well aware that you have a hormone imbalance, and suddenly it's like, that makes sense. Okay, so now you know. Now you know the missing pieces. Now you know that you can have weight loss, effortless weight loss, just by balancing your hormones. Now you know how to be in control of your thoughts and your emotions. Now you know that you can live and have a diet that's indulgent and sustainable. And you know that you actually can have this body and this life that you love. You can have it. So this really brings up the question, how can I get these results in my life? How can I get my dream body and get my health back? And I can tell you, you can just do it slow or you can do it fast. It's as simple as that. So here's what you need to know. I just want you to make a decision. You can either do it slow, try to patch together some of the stuff that you've learned today from me. But here's the thing, you and I both know the trial and error game because you've been doing it for a very long time. That's why you're here. You've been doing it for years. So I created a solution, okay? I know the missing pieces. I've been coaching for 10 years now. I know exactly what is missing. My background in nutritional therapy, personal training, and life coaching enables me to fill in the gaps missing from all the other different things that you've tried. So I created a solution called the Fat Burning Made Easy program. Okay? It's an 8-week program, and we switch your body over to burning fat by balancing those hormones that we spoke about. First of all, I just want to say this is not for everyone, okay? It's not for people who aren't ready to take action right now, okay? Because really, if not now, when? There will always be life. There will always be something. Okay, so if you're not ready now, it's not for you. It's not for people who are interested in a quick fix. Okay, this is not a quick fix. It requires your time and your energy, but it is life-changing. So if you're ready to change your life, this is the program for you. And it's not for people who aren't willing to back themselves, okay? So if you're not going to invest in yourself, if you can't invest your time, energy, and money in yourself, this isn't the program for you either, okay? Now, I built this program, like I said, to fill in all the missing pieces, okay? I know it. I've seen it for 10 years. I know what is missing. So I built it to guide you step by step, free you from your thoughts, your emotions, balancing your hormones naturally. It's designed to help you understand what those missing pieces of the puzzle are. Okay. It's actually designed to get you short-term results. So you get quick weight loss and energy, but then you also get long-term results as well. So you nourish your body back to health, so you can spend less time worrying about food and health and counting calories, because I know you do. I just ate this and now I need to do this much exercise to burn it off. I know you do it. So you don't have to do that anymore. You'll have more time to enjoy your body and your life. Okay, and I need the program to give you short-term results as well as long-term results, because I know that you don't believe anymore. So when you get the short-term results, you believe, and then you will continue living this amazing life because you know that it works. And then you get the long-term benefits as well. So first of all, this is the success formula. So as I mentioned, I know the missing pieces. I've seen it before, and this is what is missing. Then you need world-class content. So you need the education component, because I know that you've done programs before and then you just go back to old habits. So you need to understand how everything works. So there's content that educates you, and then you become empowered to change your life. So beyond the 8 weeks, beyond the 12 weeks, beyond the 6 months and the 12 months, you are in control of your health, your weight, and your life. You need the world-class content, and it is world-class because it's using the latest nutritional science, recent studies, and there's cool stuff in there. Coaching. You need the coaching because you're doing programs at the moment that are a one-size-fits-all. And life isn't like that. Health isn't like that. Your situation is different. So we can fill in those missing pieces and actually personalize the coaching to suit you, your family, your lifestyle, your work, your food preferences. And the other part is the supportive community, because you've done things before and you don't have anyone to be accountable for. You don't have anyone sharing the journey with you. The supportive community makes you feel like you're part of something bigger. So this is a successful formula, and this allows me to guarantee my program. I guarantee that you will be 100% satisfied or you'll get your money back. I guarantee you will get your results or your money back. Because this is the missing pieces: world-class content, personalized coaching, and a supportive community. Here are the pillars in the program: clarity and confidence. We liberate you from your insecurities and the overwhelm when it comes to your health and weight, and you leave that pillar empowered and confident, loving yourself. It seems foreign, I know, but you will. You'll look in the mirror and feel love. Energize is the second pillar, and at the end of that pillar, you will double your energy. And that'll be within the first couple of weeks. And it'll be at least double the energy. balance. So this pillar of balance is where we actually restore harmony in the body, because we balance all those hormones that we spoke about earlier. Number 4, the fourth pillar is inner peace. So you know that the role that chronic state, that elevated cortisol, the heightened state of your central nervous system is fat storing. So we restore peace, a sense of calm and well-being as we align your body. It comes back into balance. Your central nervous system comes back into balance. So these are the 4 pillars of the program. Here are the steps that we take you through in the program. Naturally, preparation. Would you believe that it is missing from nearly every single program? Preparation section. And studies show that you need at least 10% preparation to have your success. So naturally we include your preparation. The why that we spoke about, you must understand your why. You must make that very clear in your brain. Embracing feelings, we teach you to tap into that inner child, to learn to love yourself, to release you from your relationship with food, free you from that. We reprogram thought patterns. So we actually reprogram the neurological pathways within your brain so that you can now have these pathways that support your new habits. Next level nutrition, which is where we go into the latest nutritional science, and we educate you so you understand how nutrition affects your body, but specifically with relation to burning fats, as in fat metabolism. We also go into the benefits of lifelong burning fat. Faster, naturally you've seen the benefits of fasting. So we use strategies for fasting to accelerate your burning fat and speed up your metabolism. Easy exercise. We use child's play to tap into exercise that is fat burning, that is sustainable and fun. I'm not going to tell you to do a whole lot of different crazy workouts that are just not you. One of my clients said, look, I just felt like I was a fraud doing these other programs. It's not me. And I get that. You don't need to exercise to lose weight. I said it. Used to be a personal trainer and I said it. You don't need to exercise to lose weight. It's about hormone balance. But exercise or movement is critical for your health and well-being, especially your mental well-being. So naturally it's included in the program. Happy hormones, that is where we balance your hormones. Those hormones that we spoke about. Sleeping Beauty, we restore your circadian rhythms, because when you are well rested, your body's going to pick fat instead of glucose. We go through the different fat storing behavior that you're currently participating in, and we change that to fat burning behavior. Stress to impress. It is impressive to be stressed in society, to say that you're stressed or you're busy, but we're going to change that once for all, and we're going to restore that balance of cortisol and adrenaline within the body so that you can switch into a fat storing mode. So we get control through stress management techniques to actually get control back of your stress. Relaxation haven, hey, it just sounds lovely, and it is, because what happens is we are allowing you the opportunity for self-care, and this is a self-care module. It's lots, right? So as I mentioned, it is a very comprehensive program. It covers everything you need to be successful, so much so that, as I mentioned before, I guarantee you a success. 100% guarantee all your money back, because I know those missing pieces. I've been coaching for 10 years and I know what is missing from all the other programs that you've done with regards to your nutrition, your mindset, your exercise. If not now, when? You've been putting everyone else first for a very long time. And at the end of the day, you cannot look after everyone else unless you are your 100% best. Eventually the cracks form, and that is why you're here. So the real question comes down to you. If not now, when?